America, we're your connection to help make your buildings smarter. We work with best-in-class manufacturers to supply products for wireless, security, renewable energy, lighting, and critical power solutions. And we have a network of integrators nationwide that can help make it work all together. So, the next time you're thinking about making your building smarter, think Graybar, and we'll help you get connected. Visit graybar.com/connected buildings to learn more.
This is the Verizon Extra Innings Show. Verizon, the most reliable 5G in St. Louis.
Victor is hit in the air to right center field, and over is the right fielder Carroll to make the play, and this ball game has come to an end as Victor Scott II flies out to right, stranding Jordan Walker, and the Cardinals are swept here in Arizona, again for the first time being swept by the Diamondbacks since 2007. Our final, Arizona 5, St. Louis 3.
Joe Pott with you on the Extra Innings Show here on KMOX. The Extra Innings Show is presented by Graybar. Graybar, your distributor for data and electrical and datacom needs, rather. Welcome into the show. Another tough one for the Redbirds. This has been a carbon copy the first 3 days out of the All-Star break. Starting pitching can't get off to a good start. Offense can't really get off the ground. That's really what it's been for 3 straight days in the desert. Friday, it was like that with 3 runs coming in the 9th inning. Last night, they settled for a single solo home run from Alec Burleson in the middle of the game. Today, they have single runs in 3 different innings, but they were already down 5-1 before they scored any runs. They were down 4-0 and eventually down 5-1 in this game very early. 2 more home runs from Eugenio Suarez. And that was really all she wrote for the Redbirds. If you want to have your say, 314-436-7900. You can get in that way. Easier still, you can hit us up on the socials at YouTube, Facebook, X. We are right there. Our stream is live, and you can get in and comment. I will be able to see that, and we can talk about whatever it is that is on your mind here as the Cardinals have dropped 3 straight to Arizona. It is clearly not the way the Cardinals wanted to come out of the break, especially it was a tough series before the break with Atlanta. You do finish off that series with a win in that Sunday game, that rain-shortened game, I should say rain-delayed game. And it sort of felt like, okay, this is positive momentum going into the All-Star break. Perhaps a rest, a reset, and you come back out strong. You're facing a team in Arizona that was under 500 starting the weekend, so you feel like at least you have a good shot, right, to come out with a series win, and they don't. And it's not the first time. It's been that way. They've had that issue before, and they come out instead getting swept, and it makes this Colorado series uber important now coming out of the break. We'll go right to the phones. Let's get Don on. Don, you're on the Extra Innings Show.
Mr. Joe Pott, how you doing?
Doing good, man.
Yeah, I watched the game like I always do. This team, to be honest with you, they need to get rid of Contreras. Arenado, I think he's done, and King in the bullpen, and Gray. I think they just need to shake up this roster, Joe, because like I said, I just don't think this team's going to win many more games this year. And, you can have the best hitting coach, but if you don't have the talent, you don't have players that can hit, it doesn't matter what kind of hitting coach you have. I watched this team today. They don't know the strike zone. They let a mediocre pitcher beat them today, and he wasn't throwing many strikes. He loaded the bases in the 5th inning, and the Cardinals couldn't even come up with a hit. I mean, they were lucky to score a run. He walked the bases loaded, and the Cardinals couldn't come up with a run. I mean, this is the worst hitting team I've ever seen, and I follow this Cardinal team since a long time. I'm 69 years old, and this team can't hit. Joe, I would like to hear your comments on this, and I appreciate talking to you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the call, Don. I don't know that I would say they're the worst hitting team. They still, even as of today, are in the top 11 in Major League Baseball overall hitting wise. So going off of average, that is not saying OPS. They have not been a great slugging team all year. They're middle of the pack OPS when you look at it at about 713, which puts them quite honestly right with the Angels, the Reds, the Twins. So they're pretty middle of the pack as far as that goes. I know they're not a huge threat offensively, slugging, things like that, but I would hesitate to call them the worst hitting team that I've seen. But I do appreciate the call, Don, and I know we talk a lot, so I appreciate you getting in and being part of the show. Let's go to Mike. Mike, you're up next on Camo X.
Hey, I don't think this could have gone any better for the Cardinals because they needed to send a message to the front office. And I think Mo is just bad enough that he would try to maybe stand pat. So I personally, I don't care if they lose 10 more in a row. It needs to, something has to happen to this roster.
You want to see a shakeup?
Yeah, I do. I want to say I'm so sick of seeing these other teams. I mean, good Lord, they've got a freaking shortstop that has 21 home runs, 70-something RBIs. Wins great. That's fine. He is what he is. But it's going to take him 3 years to produce that. With the way the game is played today, it's either a home run, a strikeout, a walk. I just don't know that the emphasis on defense is what it was 20 years ago. And I would rather see them go for a high upside offensive player rather than defense. And I'm one who truly believes that defense up the middle wins, but I don't know if it does in today's baseball. And this organization, Mo in particular, ownership, and I give them all kinds of credit for what they've done in the last 20 years, but they deserve all of the blame for what's going on now. And unless this club continues to lose, I'm afraid they're going to try to pull out another, maybe we can just get in. Maybe we can just get, no, you're horrible. You have no superstar. I mean, I would even go as far as to say that if Donovan, Wynn, any of those guys, if you get a really good offer for them, you have to consider it because they are so inferior when you go against some of these other rosters. I mean, it's just, I don't know what else to say. Anyway.
And Mike,
I don't care that they can lose. I don't care.
So, so just to be clear, you want to see these moves like for the future going forward, right? You're not looking to change this team to try to do something this year.
No. I mean, is it possible that maybe you can make a move and maybe you get lucky and you reap the benefit even as early as this year? But unless they get a right-handed power bat, because Walker's not the answer, or at least not yet. And I'd stick him back in freaking Springfield until he proves he can hit down there, and not worry about if he gets his feelings hurt, so be it. It doesn't matter at this point. You have to. I'm hoping that Bloom and his team can work their magic with the young players. So if they want to reset Walker and these guys, go for it. But send them down until he proves he can hit. And you've got to have a power bat. You have to have somebody. The only players on this roster I would even be upset if they trade is Burleson and Herrera. I mean, everybody else can. They're throw them in a bag and whoever falls out. I mean, that's basically how they're all the same.
No, I appreciate the call, Mike, and I think that I think we're largely on the same page. I was saying this even last night. Whatever, I think that major league talent included, if you can get some positive benefits, if you can get something back for players, I think that there really should be. I think that everybody should be available, and I'm interested to see, quite honestly, what kind of players they're targeting, because I mentioned this last night. You could see a shift a little bit in the draft, specifically with the pitchers, from pitch to contact guys to power, strikeout, velocity guys, which sort of signals what Chaim Bloom sort of prioritizes, right? So now I'm interested to see what that looks like offensively and what Chaim Bloom and what that philosophy is going to look like going forward.
Well, and then you just can't have four players at the bottom of your lineup that's hitting 220. I mean, I think Newt might turn out to be a superstar. I don't think so, but he might. And if they move him, I will say, you know what? He had his chance and he didn't develop here. I don't know if maybe that will change under Bloom, but it seems like these guys stall out once they get here. And I just don't understand the whole management or mismanagement of the roster. Even going back as far as last year when they were desperate for somebody that had some pop, and you have Baker down there tearing up the freaking AAA, hitting, crushing lefties, and they have nobody to do it, and they leave him down there, and then when he does come up, he sits for 2 weeks. I'm sorry, but I swear this organization, this manager, this whole regime can take the hottest bat in baseball, and you give them a week, and they'll be, 0 for 10. So anyway, that's my comment. Enjoy the show. Thank you.
I appreciate it, Mike. No, I appreciate the call. I certainly appreciate the passion from Mike, and I think that a lot of people are feeling kind of that frustration, right? That this is a team, and especially I think even a little bit more because we know that there is a little bit of talent there, or there is probably more talent than a lot of folks want to give the roster credit for. But unfortunately, it's not playing out. I do tend to stick with Mike in that if you can get value back, I don't think that anybody's untouchable. I really don't think that there's anything that you're not going to give up. He mentioned Herrera. That's probably pretty legit. Now, he also mentioned Mason Wynn. I don't know if they'll be willing to part with a Mason Wynn, but I do think that I wouldn't be shocked to see if there are some major league guys that are outgoing if they feel like they've got some value coming back for them. So I appreciate those calls. Let's take a break here. We'll come back. We'll get you segment number 2 of the Extra Innings Show. Cardinals fall today 5-3 to the Diamondbacks, and we're coming back right here on KMOX.
St. Louis Public Library is here to help the community recover. Every Monday in July, join SLPL at DeVol Library, 4234 North Grand Boulevard from 4 to 6 p.m. For community rebuilding events, these outside events offer free resources and supplies to St. Louis neighbors, including food distribution, diapers and period products, legal aid, crisis counseling, and more. For more information, visit slpl.org.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley for i3 Broadband, the internet provider in the Pauley household. I think you'd love it if you had them as well. We've got the 2 gig package at our home, 2 gig upload, 2 gig download mirrored, and we're spending less money than we did with the cable company for lesser service. Plus, right now, they've got savings over $400 beyond their already low standard pricing. You got questions? They've got answers. Call 877-976-0711, and they've got people there who can answer all your questions, or head to their website, i3broadband.com.
There's a big red barn where you save green. Norm's Bargain Barn. On discount windows, doors, and things. Norm's Bargain Barn.
Hi, I'm Norm Wilkie. Come see my new selection of Amish cabinetry made by my good Amish friends at Countrywood Products. We now stock 5 styles of cabinetry for you to choose from.
When you need to save on discount windows, doors, and cabinetry, come to Norm's Bargain Barn. With locations in Shiloh and Fenton at the bottom of Gravois Bluffs. Visit normsbargainbarn.com.
That's normsbargainbarn.com.
Now, back to the Verizon Extra Innings Show.
We're back in on the Extra Innings Show. It is presented by Graybar. Graybar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. I know I've got a couple of calls, or at least a call here. Give me 1 second. Let me rip through some of these comments that are hitting us up on social media, because I appreciate everybody getting in and being part of the show here today. Sam says, Cardinals giving pitches for Suarez to crush. I said that. I mentioned that. The one home run, I think it was the one in the first inning. It was like 91 at the top of the zone. And Miles Michaelis after the game said, he only had a couple of balls hit hard, but they counted for a lot. It was a 3-run home run in the first and a solo in the third. So definitely missing his spots there on that one. Got a whole bunch from number one Cards fans forever, who ultimately was originally saying that maybe it's the real fans show up at the game. So that's fine. How about Steve says Pages is a hole in the lineup? Might be true, but they don't have, he's never been a great offensive performer. I don't think that Pozo is the guy you want behind the plate on a daily basis. So that's the issue you've got there. They've obviously decided that Herrera is also not the guy that they want behind the plate on a daily basis. They want his bat in the lineup, but not necessarily defensively. Let's see. Where else do we have here? Graham said he would happily watch McGreevy give up 10 earned runs as opposed to watching Michaelis give up 5. You'll get your chance tomorrow. Not that I'm saying he's going to give up 10 earned runs. But Michael McGreevy is going to start tomorrow night in Colorado. They're actually going to push Matthew Liberatore back, not for anything physically. They want him to have a little more rest to extend his all-star break because he is at his highest innings pitched in his career. And so they're trying to be safe with Matthew Liberatore. He will pitch in the upcoming series against San Diego in St. Louis. Walt says ownership is to blame. Contracts play policy causes losses on the field in the box office. It's beyond comprehension for any logical thinking human being. I think that obviously I know that folks are disappointed with the way things are going. Again, all I can say is that John Mozeliak is not going to be in the job after October 31st. Somebody did mention on the comments, it was Walt actually, do you want Mo judging value? Well, I mean, I think that the track record, I think we're okay with that. He's done just fine. I get it. You're disappointed. You're frustrated in this team over the last 3 years. I think for a body of work, Mo has been fine. And understand it's not going to be just Mo. It's never been just Mo. It's not going to be just Mo. It will have a lot to do with Chaim Bloom and what is coming as far as that for the Cardinals. Weather, Holt, and Doyle, the only untouchables. Obviously, I don't think they're going to trade guys that they have not yet seen at the major league level and guys that they drafted in the top 10 the last 2 years. So that's not even a question, I don't think. Let's get back to the phones. Let's get Carol a chance. Carol, you are on the Extra Innings Show.
Thank you for taking my call. I just like to comment on some of the people that want us to get rid of every player that we have. They apparently don't pay much attention to whom they can get rid of, because the first caller wanted to get rid of Contreras and Arenado, so I guess he doesn't know they have no trade clauses. And I don't think we would have gotten Contreras if we hadn't given him a no trade clause. He wasn't a trade, he was a free agent. And so I think people need to remember that, for better or worse, we gave them no trade clauses. Michael is the same thing. So we could drop them and pay them. I mean, we could release them, but that's the only other way to get rid of them. They can't go down to AAA and So I think people need to remember. Sometimes I think they just look at the scores of today's game and they don't remember that there are other reasons these players are there, for better or for worse. That's all.
Carol, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for calling in. And just to address that, I think that, certainly you still could make a deal for these guys. It would just take them approving it. We saw that over the summer. The Cardinals had essentially worked out a deal with Houston for Nolan Arenado. He decided that he did not want to be dealt. Wilson Contreras actually asked not to be dealt in the offseason. Sonny Gray asked not to be dealt in the offseason. So, yes, I think that you're right, that there is certainly some stipulations to making those moves or being able to move those guys. Wouldn't be totally impossible, but your point is well taken, and I appreciate you, Carol, giving us the call today. Some other comments, minimum 3 arms and 1 position player that the Cardinals can sell at the deadline. That's according to Graham. I don't know if that's the case. I think that it's all, the value is what you can get, right? You're worth what someone will pay you. So you're worth, in this case, you're worth what somebody will give you back. I mentioned this yesterday, but the Cardinals moved Tommy Edman when he was on the injured list last year, which I don't think anybody expected. First off, to move Tommy Edman, but second off, to be able to move him on the injured list, and got back Eric Fetty, who at the time was considered to be a very good starter, a very viable starter, and really had been and was during 2024 a viable starter. And for parts of this year, I might remind folks, he was a viable starter. Now, has he had his issues? Absolutely he's had his issues. So I think that it's hard for us to say who they have the opportunity to move, because we might perceive that there is no value for a certain player and somebody in another organization perceives it completely different. And we've seen that both ways. Cardinals getting players that maybe you think, my goodness, what's that ever going to do? John Lester, Jay Happ, those guys came here and did good things for the Cardinals, when I think a lot of folks would have thought, man, they're washed up. They're not, they're not of any value anymore. And I think, again, that just depends sort of the eye of the beholder. Bill says, if Edman is here, who are you sitting Wynn, Scott, or Donovan. Yeah, I understand the point. I'm not saying I don't understand why. I'm saying that they moved a player that was on the injured list. So I get it that there was some depth to be dealt from, and I think that's the case still. What I'm saying is it's hard for us to sit here in this seat and decide who has value, because there's plenty that is valuable to certain organizations. There are plenty of players that we might believe are not valuable. People say it all the time. They look at player, oh, look at this guy turned into X when he went somewhere else. Sometimes it literally is a change of scenery. Steve Wright says Gorman still has worth, but does he have worth for you, or does he have worth for another team? Is his value to the Cardinals what he's going to get back? I don't know. Can they move him? He is on the injured list currently with the back injury. So that's another question, because that's, again, a point of depth with Donovan, with Sajasi. I've thought for a while that Sajasi could be a possibility of somebody that you look at from the major league roster that could be somebody that could bring you back some value. And you're dealing from a place of some depth as far as the middle infield is concerned, since you do have Donovan and you do have Gorman. So it's valid points. I get it. I just think it's hard for us to sit here and decide what is valuable in certain situations. We're not always right on. We're not always thinking the same way that maybe other executives are, that other teams. There are a lot of teams that value certain things, that value certain players, certain assets in players. And that's where I think you see and maybe probably misjudge the job that a John Mozeliak does, and ultimately that a Chaim Bloom is going to do in putting those kinds of deals together and in working some of those out, in identifying what might be valuable to another organization and thus what will bring value to your organization in return. Garland questions me as far as Sajasi having value. I absolutely think Sajasi has value. I think a guy who gets consistent playing time and consistent at-bats is probably going to hit. He's shown that certainly at the minor league level. He's shown it in stretches at the big league level. When he went down originally this year, I think he was hitting .315 at the big league level. So I absolutely believe Sajasi has value. So that's my point, is that there's value to be found here, and there's probably a lot of value that we don't necessarily see or identify. And that's speaking only of the big leagues guys. That's not speaking of what the Cardinals have within their system. Again, if there is something to be worked out, I imagine that it's going to be worked out. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the calls today and all the interaction. I need to tell you what's on deck. It is sponsored by Chesterfield Fence and Deck. The sign you have the very best, chesterfieldfence.com. What's on deck is a 3-game series with the Rockies. It starts tomorrow, 7:40, first pitch, 6:45 with the pregame show here on KMOX and across the Cardinals radio network. Michael McGreevy will be up. He'll start that game tomorrow. He is 1-1 with a 4.22 ERA at the big league level. He's made 3 starts for the Cardinals at the big league level. I think he's made a relief appearance as well. And he's 8-3 with a 3.7 ERA in 15 games started at the AAA level. So he has done well, and he has started a lot this year, which is what they wanted, which is what they have hoped for. He's also had a couple of bad starts too, and he's still got a 3.7 ERA. He's had a couple of rough starts his last 2 times out at the AAA level. He's going to face Austin Gomber, who's 0-3 with a 5.65 ERA. Of course, Austin Gomber was dealt to the Rockies by the Cardinals for Nolan Arenado in 2021, 4th-round pick of the Cards back in 2014. Thanks so much to all of our folks getting in today. Big thanks to Rick Horton, to Mike Claiborne, and Ryan Schulte in the booth in Arizona. John Rooney will be back when the Cardinals come home at the end of the week. Big thanks to Johnny Camp, keeping us on time, in line all afternoon long. I'm Joe Pott. Again, tomorrow it's a 6:45 pregame show here on KMOX. Keep it here on your home of the Cardinals. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
They are a Hall of Fame company, MVP talent. That would be Chesterfield Fence and Deck. The